All right, the Springbok Trophy Tour kicks off in Gauteng tomorrow. Fans will line the streets to thank the men who have brought glory to South Africa by winning the coveted Rugby World Cup. They will travel through parts of Pretoria, Johannesburg and Soweto, parading the Webb Ellis trophy from an open-top bus. The plan is roughly as follows: 8:30 to 9:30 at the Union Buildings in Pretoria, after which the parade will travel past Loftus Versfeld Stadium around Church Square. Then it will be on to Johannesburg, and for more on that leg, let's chat to Superintendent Wayne Minnaar from Joburg's Metro Police. Great to have you with us, Wayne. So what time will they arrive in Johannesburg tomorrow?
We're expecting them to arrive at MTN on 14th Avenue at approximately 11.
Okay. Which area are we talking about?
That's the Roodepoort area.
Okay.
And then from MTN, they will then get onto the N1 and travel on the freeway, and then go in a northerly direction as far as Empire Road, and then go off at Empire Road, turn right into Empire Road, and then turn right into Melly Street, Bramfontein,
okay,
to the Help Mekaar School. That's where they'll spend some time, and then from there on around the Metro Centre in Bramfontein, and then onto De Korte Street. The bus will then go over the Nelson Mandela Bridge, and then it will go through the CBD of Johannesburg, down Simmons Street, and then onto Boysons Road, onto the Soweto Highway,
okay,
to Soweto.
Okay.
So then there's a part of Soweto that it will go through.
Okay, so roughly we're starting in Roodepoort in Randburg, heading towards Bramfontein, the Joburg area, then heading towards Soweto. Will the Nelson Mandela Bridge obviously be a big part of that?
Big part of the route, yes.
So people won't know exactly when they're hitting which street, but you can roughly follow the route. Can you follow it in real time?
You see, look, the route that we're mentioning is about the place to be. Bramfontein, I think, is most suitable. And then for the people in Soweto to be along Vilakazi Street, because when it gets into Soweto, it will go into Vilakazi Street, and then it will come out of Orlando West and left onto Klipspruit Valley Road, and then it will turn right at Armitage to get back into the Orlando Stadium, because the Orlando Stadium is where the Johannesburg part of the tour ends.
Yeah, and it culminates there at Orlando Stadium.
That's correct.
Can people gather at Orlando Stadium?
Yes, I think people can gather at the Orlando Stadium, and people can gather all along the route for the victory parade, because it's about celebration.
Yeah, and some interesting passes in Soweto, Hector Peterson Memorial, I think. So you're going past very symbolic areas in Soweto and past Maponyo Mall as well.
Yes, absolutely. The Hector Peterson Memorial area, that's to the north of Vilakazi Street, is the one area that the bus will definitely pass through, and people can gather there to celebrate the victory of the Boks.
Again, how do you know when they're sort of coming by you? If you'd like to stand on the street, are people allowed to go out and just converge on the pavements? But everyone will be asking, where are they? When are they coming to our spot?
Yeah, so look, the route that they'll be taking into Soweto will be the Soweto Highway, and then they will go left into...
And what time roughly heading towards
Now that is very difficult to say.
Depends.
It depends on how much time they're going to spend at MTN, and then how much time they will spend in the Bramfontein area, and also depending on the amount of people along the route, and also stopping along the route. So I think, say, from between 11 and 1 p.m. would be a good time to take up your position along the route and wait for the bus.
Wherever you are. In terms of traffic congestion, are you worried about traffic in and out of the Joburg CBD, in and out of Soweto? And maybe people won't mind, I suppose.
Yes, no, I think, I mean, tomorrow is going to be one day that everyone is going to be very jubilant, wanting to celebrate with the Boks. and wanting to show their appreciation for what the Boks having played well at the World Cup. So it's about really being happy and having fun, as long as we do so in a responsible manner. I don't foresee any problems along the route. We'll have a huge contingent of officers from all the law enforcement agencies present, escorting the Boks and assisting with traffic as the procession goes along the route through Braamfontein, then onto the Nelson Mandela Bridge, through Braamfontein, through the CBD, into Soweto, to the Orlando Stadium.
All right, so I'm sure many will be lining the streets tomorrow. Thank you for that update. Wayne Minnaar from the Johannesburg Metro Police Department. And let's speak to Simon Burke, our own sports anchor, because from here it goes to Durban, East London, Port Elizabeth and Cape Town. But let's start with the Gauteng route. How were these places picked? I mean, some interesting spots.
The thing that's interesting to me is that it's non-traditional rugby venues that they're visiting. And I think that's the theme of the Springbok team. It's trying to be as inclusive as they possibly can be. So you'll notice Ellis Park is nowhere on the map. That might be a logistical problem, but what I've known from the Springboks, ever since I've known the Springboks, is that they always pay homage to Ellis Park. They have a museum there, but they're not going to their traditional base. They're going into the city centre. They're going across the Nelson Mandela Bridge, which is a figurative link that connects the city together. So they're trying to connect with the people, and they're trying to connect with not their traditional heartlands and supporter bases.
And Hector Peterson Memorial, I mean, that's a historic site, which I guess links into what the captain has been saying, what the team has been saying.
Symbolizing
youth,
the
legacy,
and,
where we've come from.
And what they've added to the narrative in South Africa. I think that they've latched onto that, and it is important. And they were quite shy and retiring in saying, if we could have only added 1% of hope, we would have done our job. They've done a little bit more than that, but they are still, they know their place.
What's next after tomorrow?
Right, well then they're off to Durban. Again, non-traditional places, city centre, Moses Mabhida Stadium, no Kings Park. Then they go to the traditional heartland of the Eastern Cape. And this is quite key in the celebrations.
Let's stop there, because that's where Siya Kolisi was born.
Yes.
Rassie Erasmus.
Makazole Mapimpi from East London, from Swallows Rugby Club, Siya Kolisi from African Bombers, Zwide. These are clubs that have been forgotten about. These are clubs with a rich history. Spring Rose, the Wolfson Stadium. This is something that needs to wind its way through the narrative of South African rugby. And right now, what they have done is they've put an exclamation point there and said, we're going to those places because this is where our Springboks come from. This is the lifeblood of South African rugby, and we need to acknowledge it, and we need other people to acknowledge it. And so when they go there, more people in South Africa will realize.
And I think raising the prominence of the Eastern Cape for all of us. Then culminating in Cape Town, but not going to Newlands.
Again, not going to Newlands, going to the Cape Town Stadium. The past trophy tours have gone to Newlands, but this one is going to stick in the city centre, and that they're going to go to the newly built Cape Town Stadium. Well, it's not newly built, but in rugby terms, it's fairly new. And we know that the Stormers will be playing there from a couple of years' time, and they'll be forsaking Newlands. So it's all looking towards the future, and it's all trying to get everybody involved in rugby and say this is for everyone. It's not just for the traditional.
And I guess some major centres have to be left out. I mean, there's only so much you can do.
Look, Bloemfontein's not on the map, and I don't think we can read any sort of significance into that other than perhaps logistics. But it's important that they went to the Eastern Cape, and it's important that they took a whole weekend to do that. So if it meant that Bloemfontein doesn't get a stop this time round, that's just how it is.
So from what you saw yesterday, because you were there when these visuals were filmed, when the team landed, I mean, what's it going to be like? They seem like they are willing to just engage and receive and give.
And the public's coming out and embracing and taking this team to their hearts, and that's the key. This is completely not manufactured. There's no branding, there's no companies involved. It's absolutely organic. It's South Africans coming out and saying we want to be part of this, and the team saying yes, come. We're gonna all go through all the streets, highways and byways.
Yeah.
We're gonna meet every one of you, and it's a beautiful thing.
And our cameras will be there tomorrow,
Yes.
following the team wherever
Huge
they go.
logistical.
So it's fortunate you're standing here because it's time for sporting headlines.
Yes.
So take it away.